Good afternoon, good evening, and good night, everyone. Welcome to KerbSide Collections with me, Adam Ritchie, a podcast about physical media collectors for physical media collectors. Join me this week or this month as I burrow into the psyche of this episode's avid collector, a new buddy I met through the gram and through this podcast, basically. Mark Hunt, say it slowly.
Yeah,
Welcome to the show, Mark. How are you?
yeah, I'm well, mate. How are you?
Yeah, good, and yeah, we've been chatting on and off for a little bit, so it's good to actually
Yeah,
finally
a
meet
few
you
weeks
face to
now. Yeah,
face.
that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What part of the world are you from for our listeners?
So I'm in Melbourne, Australia, outer west. So in a not so affluent suburb, but it does us okay. So
Out
yeah,
past Footscray or
yeah, further west than that. Yeah,
okay? Yep,
yeah.
yep.
So outer west. So yeah,
Outer.
yeah,
There you go.
yeah,
Laverton. I don't know. I'm just trying to think of.
yeah. It's Laverton adjacent. It's a place called Melton. It doesn't have a
Oh
very good
yeah,
rep.
yeah.
And
Nice.
but it's fine apart from the stabbings in the shopping centre and stuff. If you
Oh
can
yeah,
get
man.
past that, it's awesome.
I reckon any suburb in the country at the moment is like that for
Yeah,
real. Like it doesn't matter how
100%.
rich you are. Like you probably even get them in Torak, right? So
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, I mean there's
Yeah,
dickheads everywhere. You'll be lifting up the average a little bit anyway.
yeah, yeah. I like to think so.
All right, we'll get stuck into it if you
Yeah,
like.
yeah. No worries.
So the first question I generally like to ask is why do you collect physical? I'm just look. I know you a little bit. I know you collect more than
Yep,
just movies. So
yep.
physical media with so many other options out there.
I've always had a bit of a collector mindset, I guess, and I've just liked having things. Always, like my whole life, I can remember as a kid, wanting Star Wars figures, and I
Mm.
just like collecting sets of things. Even the gamer in me, I tend to be drawn towards, collecting sort of games, for want of a better term. Like I've played a
You
lot
mean
of
like you mean like
Minecraft and just things
okay,
that require you to gather resources and stuff. I don't know, I've always
ah,
kind of had a bit of that bent in me.
okay.
So physical media is certainly part of that. Like obviously I like what they bring to my life. It's not just about having
Mm.
things.
Yep,
But
yep.
yeah, I just have a bit of a collector mindset. It's part of my psyche, I think.
Yeah, that's totally fair. I think a lot of us can relate to that,
Yep.
honestly. So when you say the games, you mean like computer games, console games, not board games.
Correct, although I do play board games as well.
Okay,
So yeah, I've played things like Dominion and stuff like that, which
right.
sort of deck building games and stuff like that. But yeah,
Ah,
I've played a lot of video games over my life. I kind of grew up with them. I got my first computer, even though I'm old. I got my first computer in grade six. It was like a Dick Smith little thing.
okay.
So yeah, like my whole life, I've been a video gamer, and still now I'm almost 55. I still play games pretty
Yeah,
much daily. If it's not on my phone, on my PC, I've got a PS5 and
yep.
multiple sort of vintage consoles and stuff. And that's
Yeah, cool.
another collection as well.
Ah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
I'm intrigued by the vintage consoles because I have look, I don't game much anymore because every time I game, and I used to game, I mainly play racing games or sport games,
yep,
basically. I can't play those shoot 'em up games because they just give me, I get motion sick from playing stuff like Call of Duty
yeah.
and things
Gotcha.
like that.
Yep,
Like it's not good for me. But racing, because obviously, not maybe not obviously to some people, but I'm a Formula One fan as well. So they were kind of
okay.
my jam, that and Gran Turismo. So
Yep,
with the retro gaming stuff, I do have a Super SNES, like the little mini they brought out
yeah, yeah, yep,
recently.
yep.
But I missed out on the C64, which I really regret not getting so hard because they had some great games.
Yep.
So do you have those?
So I had two Commodore 64s as a kid, of
Yeah,
various iterations, and yeah,
yeah.
they went a long time ago. I
Oh,
have like a couple of like Super Nintendos, but the
yep.
original consoles.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and a lot of Mega Drive stuff, and
Yeah,
going
cool.
back to the original Nintendo, and yeah,
So
heaps of that sort of stuff.
where are you stored? Because just for our listeners, I can see behind you and you've got a massive wall of
Yep,
CDs, basically
yep,
the entire wall. So where are
yep.
you storing all those, all the other
So
stuff?
yeah, a lot of the vintage stuff is just put away in boxes
Yeah.
because it just takes up too much space. At one point, I
Mm.
worked out I had 27 consoles.
Oh wow,
So,
that's
when you
amazing.
consider, obviously there's five or six iterations of Nintendo, and then Atari stuff, and
Yeah.
yeah, it never ends. So
Yeah.
yeah, I found it was cool having it all. I had it all displayed at one time, and it just takes up too much space. And
Mm,
with collecting records and CDs as well, yeah, something kind of had to go. And the vintage video game stuff I was using the least,
yeah.
so that's and it takes up the most space as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind of all been boxed, and occasionally I'll pull out like the Atari and just give it a flogging over
Okay.
a weekend or something, and
Yeah. Yeah. I was going to
yeah,
ask if you ever break them out every now and
yeah,
then. Like
yep,
I've thought about it, but then I also think about my watch list and what I'm not watching
yeah.
if I'm planning
It's
now.
really hard now. I've started to sell off some of my collection. I sold a lot of
Yeah.
stuff during COVID. That's video game stuff
Yeah.
because the
Yeah.
money was just ridiculous, and some of the
Yeah.
things I sold. Like I sold a boxed Super Nintendo game that still had a $20 price sticker from Cash
Oh, wow.
Converters on it to a guy in
Right.
France for like 240.
Yeah,
So,
that's amazing.
yeah, it's just, especially during COVID, stuff was going for so much money, and I'm just like, hey, I'm not using a lot of this stuff, and I could be
Yeah.
using the money elsewhere. So,
Yep.
yeah, sold some
Fair.
of the stuff off.
Totally fair. That's
Yep.
yeah, that's impressive.
Yeah,
I did have another. Oh yeah, but so before the episode, you showed me what you picked. Something you picked up today was
yeah,
Poltergeist on a VHS.
yeah, yep.
So
So,
do you have many other VHS tapes?
yeah, I've got maybe sort of 20 or so. I try
Okay.
not to purchase too many because, as we discussed, they take up even
Hmm.
more space than
Yeah.
everything else. But yeah, I've got a handful of stuff, and
Okay.
it's generally stuff that either I love, like this would be a favorite for sure,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
or it's stuff that I don't have on another format. Like the other day, I picked up Congo on,
Oh yeah, yeah,
yeah, the Michael Crichton,
yeah.
based on his book. And
Yes.
yeah, for some reason, I don't know, I've seen the film back in the day, but I didn't own
Hmm.
it on any format. And I saw it on VHS, and I'm
Same.
like, oh, well, $1, I'll
Yeah.
have that.
Dollar, yeah. It's
Yeah,
I actually brought it from on iTunes recently because I've not been able to find a physical copy. I missed out
yeah,
when they actually released it in Australia. Umbrella did a year, I don't know, 2 years ago, maybe before I was hardcore collecting the way I do now, but
yeah,
couldn't pick it up for any price I thought reasonable. So yeah, it was $5 on iTunes, and I rewatched it. It's a terrible movie, but it's such a great terrible movie. Like
yeah,
it's just for Tim Curry alone, it's well worth
yeah,
the price of
100%.
admission.
Anything he's in,
Yeah.
is worth a look. I've got a bit of a bent for terrible films. Like one I've brought here to show you is Blades.
Blades.
Have you heard of
I've
this film?
never heard of it. No.
Okay, so it's a VS
No.
release, Vinegar
Oh,
Syndrome.
yeah, yeah.
Came out
Okay.
in 88 or 89. It's
That's why I've never heard of it.
essentially almost a shot-for-shot remake of Jaws,
Oh,
but instead
really?
of a shark, it's a
Yeah.
lawnmower on a golf course.
Oh, mate. That
So this is elite, and you need to check this out.
I do want to see. I have a morbid curiosity for stuff like that too. Like
Yeah,
I like good bad movies. Amazon Prime have some good bad movies on there as well. And I
yeah,
just sometimes if I'm late at night, I'm in bed, I'll just browse and pick one of those. So
yeah, gotcha.
that sounds cool, especially a shot
Yeah.
for shot Jaws. That would be
Yeah, it's like
fantastic.
it's almost the exact same film. Like
Yeah,
it's
right.
even down to like the characters are all kind of very
Yeah.
similar. Like they've obviously just gone, oh, let's just almost remake this film. There are a few
Oh,
differences, but yeah, it's just like I guess it's an homage, but it's
yeah, yeah.
a trauma release
Ah,
homage. Yeah,
gotcha. Yep, yep.
yeah,
I'll have to ask Shane if he would have heard of it because he's a VS.
yeah.
Shane, who hosts the other
Yep.
show with me,
Blu-ray
he's a
Relic Hunter.
VS
Yes,
tragic. Yes,
yes,
Blu-ray.
yeah,
Yeah, he's a VS tragic, so he would know about it if he hasn't got it already, though. So yeah, intriguing.
yeah.
Yeah. When did you pick that up? Was that just did you
I
say or
think
did you?
in their sale, not obviously Black Friday, but the one
Yeah.
before, I forget what it was called. I ordered
Okay.
a whole heap of stuff, and because their sales tend to be pretty epic and very
Yeah. Yeah.
popular, they take ages
Mm.
to ship stuff.
Oh.
So I tend to then just do the order stacking thing because,
Yep. That's
like
what
that
Shane
money was
does.
spent a week ago. I should spend more money now.
Yep.
And yeah, I'll hear
Yep.
about stuff, or I'll be just checking their website and I'll see something else, and But it's just the way my brain works. I'm just like, that's $10, that's $15. What am I going to do with
Yeah,
that otherwise?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and
I
so I'll just auto stack it
Right.
and add it, and then I got a box, like this when they all came. So
I think it's one of the most cleverest marketing strategies to have to allow order stacking because for people like us, I've never ordered from Vinegar Syndrome,
yeah,
never have. I mean, I've checked out the site and they have a Congo Steelbook, which you probably
yeah,
I wanted to get, but I'm not paying $60, and that was when it was on sale, $60. And
yeah, and it's a lot of money for what's not a great film.
yeah,
Like,
exactly,
if it's 60
exactly.
bucks for something that you love, like
Yeah,
I just
if
bought not long ago, even though I had it on Blue, I bought the Late Night with the Devil
yeah,
Insight,
yeah,
direct, like limited edition, whatever. I've got it
hard
here
box
next
and
to me.
whatnot.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
because I love that film so much.
yeah.
So for me, that was a no-brainer. Like $70 or whatever it cost me, $80.
Yeah, yeah. If it's
It's like,
something you're going to watch at least once a year, it's worth it.
yeah, and just for the special features alone, because the Blu-ray, the
Mm,
original Blu-ray release, doesn't have a whole heap on it. And
no,
the guys
no.
who directed the film, I think, went to RMIT, where my daughter went to
Oh,
study
okay.
film. She studied film and media there.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, yeah.
So is she still at school or is she
No,
off?
she's finished now. So she does a little bit of production
Yeah.
work here and there. Like she worked on the Australian Open. She's done a bit of work
Ah,
on the 100 as well here and there, just doing production running.
is
She
that the
did,
Andy Lee show?
yeah, she did
Oh,
Carols
wow.
by Candlelight. She's done a few things here and there. She also is working in a medical center as well. But
Right.
yeah, so
Yeah, yeah.
she's sort of keeping her hand in the thing. But it's a tough biz to break into.
Absolutely. I
So
was going to say, like, just down the road from me, 2 exits down the road at Movie World, they do filming a lot of stuff down there, actually.
yeah,
Actually, even just a little bit across the road from there, they're filming. I know they're doing a lot of special effects. It's a couple of warehouses. I actually visited them. I know they were doing effects. They did second unit stuff for Furiosa there.
cool.
Also doing it for the Apple TV show Monarch Legends of.
Yeah, I don't know that, but yeah.
That's like the Godzilla show. If you have Apple TV, I'd recommend checking it out.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah, if you like, well, I kind of fell ass backwards into the Godzilla universe, and I found out I really, really liked it. And yeah, so that show is really good in that
okay. Yeah, I'll give it a
universe.
go.
Yeah, yeah, definitely worth checking out. So I guess on that note, do you still watch streaming? I mean,
Yeah, I
so,
do. Generally series, like TV series. I
yeah,
don't tend to stream many movies because
hmm
I've literally got probably 1,000 films that I've
yeah,
not got around to watching. Maybe
well,
that's an
yeah,
exaggeration, but because my collection's 1,500. So, but I'd have easily 500 films that I've not
yeah,
gone
yeah,
around to watching since I bought them. I may have
yeah.
seen them already, whether it be in the theater
Mm,
or, when it first came out and I hired it or whatever, because obviously I grew up with a whole Blockbuster video store thing.
yeah, yeah,
But yeah, like, if I want to watch a movie, there's plenty for me to watch. And I kind of don't, I've gotten out of the whole FOMO thing. So I don't have this
mm,
need anymore to buy stuff when it comes.
yep,
Like if I see it at a decent price, unless I really love it, like I just bought the Terminator,
yes, okay.
because I really wanted to have it on
I was
4K,
I was going to bring that up.
blah
Yeah.
blah blah. But yeah, most of the time, I won't overpay for stuff. I like to,
Mm,
get stuff, and I went through this stage where during COVID, I'd just check Amazon every day, right?
yes.
And if
Yeah.
a 4K Blu-ray was under $15, I got it,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
So I've got a whole lot of kid stuff and things that I've watched once and probably won't ever revisit,
Yeah. Yeah.
because it just appealed to that whole collector thing in me and, titles on the shelf and all that stuff.
The bargain hunting feel of
Yeah,
it too. I'm
yeah,
a bit the same. Like I'll still browse Amazon every night, and I've had to out of necessity, but have been pretty good after the Black Friday sales at not just not buying stuff, to be
yeah,
honest, because
yeah,
it's stuff I still want. I mean, when I started, like we were talking before the show, how much my collection's grown in the last 2 years, and at a certain point, because I keep everything in a spreadsheet, and I have formulas that just kind of auto calculate stuff, and
yeah,
the formula's automatically counted to like row 1000. I was like, I'll never get to that. Now I'm up to near row 2000,
yeah,
and it's just, and I think I've got everything possible. I've got everything I could possibly want, but then something else comes, and I'm like, Yeah, I want that. I need that.
You don't
Or
have everything you could possibly want because you don't have everything yet, Adam.
well, that's a
And they're
very true
releasing new
statement.
movies every day.
That's a very true statement. And then when you see what's coming next year, especially with what Warner have got coming, and
Yeah.
then it's a trap. But again, there's worse things we could be spending our money on, right? So
Yeah, true. And they last like pretty much forever. If you look
yeah,
after stuff, I know disc rot's a thing, but yeah, like if you look after stuff
well,
and it's stored properly.
I've never come across it. Like, what causes a disc to rot? Like, I've never.
Yeah, I had it with a couple of titles on the old HD DVD format that
Okay.
was short-lived, and there was one manufacturer especially that
Yes.
they could rot. So I had that with a couple of titles
Mm,
there, but generally, with CDs, as you can see, I've got quite a few of those as well.
yeah.
I haven't had too many problems, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've got movies that I would have brought 15 years ago they're still in the plastic. I've not watched yet, and they're fine. I open them up, and then like there was a rumor. Well, I heard rumors that discs only last about 5 years, and I'm like, that's
Nah,
clearly not true.
no,
Yeah.
exactly. I've got stuff. I've got, the old flippers. Remember they on DVD where you like one side of the disc has half the movie, and then
Oh,
halfway through you
yes.
got to flip the disc over.
Like, yeah, if it's a long
Like,
movie.
yeah,
Yeah.
I've got a version of Starship Troopers that was a
Ah,
flipper. Like, so,
well,
they're from the very first days of DVD and stuff,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
yeah, they're still going strong. So,
Yeah, well, that's
yeah.
good to know. We were talking about streaming. You said you watch mainly series. What are you got anything you recommend series wise? Because I don't watch a lot of series.
Yeah, so I tend to watch stuff more on the kind of creepy bent. So Haunting of Hill
Oh yeah.
House is probably
Ah,
one of my
nice. Yeah,
all-time
yeah, yeah.
favorites. In fact,
Yep.
I've got a couple of movie adjacent things here that I thought might be interesting, including,
Oh, dude,
so this is the soundtrack on vinyl, green vinyl, and this
that's
is one of my
awesome.
most expensive vinyl purchases. Because the
Wow.
soundtrack for me is what makes the series. Like obviously I have a thing for
Yeah.
music, and the series was elite and great, but the soundtrack is amazing. So
Look at that cover. Look,
yeah,
look, I love Haunting of Hill House as well. Like, I love whatever Mike Flanagan does. Honestly, the
yeah,
guy's a god.
yep,
That cover, I've for the first time since I've seen that art a million
yep,
times. Now you've shown me that. It's the first time I've noticed that the house is actually the top of her head.
yeah,
I've
yeah. You can't. I don't know if you'll
never
see it
twigged to
in
that.
this light, but it's like a green marble kind of.
Yeah,
Yeah,
a little
yeah.
bit.
It's pretty cool.
I
So yeah.
actually brought this tonight.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, because I
Haunting of
didn't
Bly
own it.
Manor.
I've never seen Bly Manor.
Yeah, I watched it. I enjoyed it. Not as much as Hill House, but it was worth a
Yeah,
look.
I thought. Look, I actually prefer Midnight Mass and House of Usher
Okay. Yep.
more than Hill House. I
Yep.
mean, I still love Hill House, but I just yeah, those other two hit me different.
Yeah.
That's good to know that you liked. Have you checked out? I mentioned it in I'm going to have to say it this way because the December episode of Curbside Pickups, where I was talking
Yep.
about Guillermo del Toro's Cabinet of Curiosities.
Yeah. No, I haven't. I haven't seen that. I've heard good things though.
Yeah, yeah, you'd
Yeah.
like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
if you're
Okay.
into that type of stuff,
Yeah.
definitely check that out.
But yeah, like my wife watches a lot of like streaming series because
Yeah.
I've recently retired, but before that I worked a lot of shift work. So, I mean, in fact, when I retired, the first thing she said to me is, "Oh, when am I going to have time to watch my girly shows? You won't be in bed early anymore."
Well,
But
do you know what that does though? That gives you an excuse to buy another TV and set up
yeah,
your own.
true,
Yeah,
true.
yeah.
Yeah,
She's
so
that's a green light to me.
yeah, yeah, 100%. So yeah, she watches a lot of streaming, but
Yeah.
yeah, movies we watch together, and yeah, I watch
Yeah, cool.
some movies during the day as well, and that's when I tend to
Hmm.
watch like stuff like the Vinegar Syndrome stuff or
Ah, yeah.
things that, because yeah, they're not really her kind of cup of tea. So
Hmm.
yeah, I'll watch something like that. Like I watched Commando Ninja the other day during the
Oh,
day.
yeah.
Yeah, which is Vinegar Syndrome, another bit of a classic.
Every time someone mentions a vinegar syndrome, look, Shane does it to me. I thought, have you heard of that? Never fucking heard of it.
No, well,
Never.
I hadn't either until I saw it on their website. And I thought, oh, yeah, that sounds intriguing. It sounds like me. And then the first scenes are like a bunch of guys in Vietnam, like
Hmm.
in the Vietnam War, so I assume the late 60s, and then they get
Yeah.
attacked by a whole bunch of ninjas, and it just gets more and more ridiculous from there.
So that sounds like a movie to watch with a bunch of mates.
Oh,
Even
100%. Yeah.
if you're into the Devil's Lettuce, that would be a great time
Yeah.
to watch movies like that.
Yeah, or about 10 beers in.
Yeah.
It's got all these again homages to Terminator. So
Right.
one of the characters has the whole Terminator view, and then there's references to Predator as well, because one of the ninjas can turn invisible like Predator. And
Yep.
then
Oh, right.
there's even little homages to Home Alone in it as well. It's like, yeah, bit of an interesting
That's
flick.
I love shit like that. I
Yeah.
like wacky. Is it a comedy or is it deliberate the way it does it?
No,
Or
it's probably an unintentional comedy, I guess. But yeah, it only
right.
came out in like 2018. It's not super old, but it's certainly got like that whole ridiculous 80s vibe thing going on.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's so I love. I've actually been delving a bit into old '80s stuff
Yep.
lately, and when you were talking about that, for some reason, there's a movie I watched relatively recently. Like it's kind of a spoof whodunit movie. It's called Murder by Death. Like
Okay. Sounds
it's
vaguely
not rated
familiar.
very well, but it's to me. I mean, I pissed myself. I thought it was funny as hell.
Yeah.
I thought it was very very good. Just silly things like that. That's kind of in the vein of like Naked Gun and those
Yep.
type of things. Yeah, I love that stupid shit.
Yeah, I think I might have seen it now, looking at the cover. It was probably yeah, it's a Neil Simon written thing. Yeah, Peter Falk,
Yeah, and
Peter
it's only
Sellers.
$33 now on well, only I'll say $33 on Amazon, and that's the cheapest
Okay.
I've seen it. And now I'm thinking, do I want to spend $33 on this now? Because it's I would definitely watch stuff like this over and over.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. Anyway, on with the questions. So, what in your collection are you most proud of owning? What do you
Mm,
have?
I don't have a whole heap of stuff that would be considered, and I don't check stuff to see if it's out of print. So,
Okay.
I've got probably about 800 Blu-rays, and I have no idea what's in print, what's out of print, what's valuable, what's not valuable.
Yeah.
The one thing I had which I knew was valuable was I had Columbia Classics Volume 1.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I sold that because I think I paid
Right.
$80 for it, and I got more than 500 for it. And
Damn.
I hadn't got around to watching anything in it yet.
Yeah. Right.
And I'm like, yeah, this thing looks great on the shelf, but that's a lot
Yeah.
of films that I could buy that I know I'm going to revisit and enjoy.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think the
And
majority of the films in that box set are now released on their own anyway.
yes. Yeah. That's in the last in the Black Friday sales. Amazon had those Warner Brothers box sets with
Yeah,
and they
th-
were cheap as hell. But if you on legit, I have probably 95% of those individually.
yeah,
I don't have any of those box sets, but I regret being impatient because you could have got all of those for like $60. Like,
yeah. I guess you don't know. Like I've got a
no,
couple
you
of
don't.
things doubled up now in the Paramount Scares box sets.
Ah, okay. Yeah.
Like I
Yeah.
had Smile on Blu-ray, but
Mm.
obviously now have it on 4K.
Yep.
Yeah, so yeah, there's a couple of things that I guess replaced that I had on Blue, by buying those.
Yeah.
They're amazing value. I noticed recently
Mm.
Amazon had Volume 1, I think it was $80 Aussie.
Yeah. It
Like,
is good value.
yeah.
And they actually have like little collectibles in them too, don't they?
Yeah,
Not
pins and patches and a little Fangoria magazine comes in each volume as well. That's
yeah.
that's like kind of cool. Like
That's pretty
I don't
funky.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
it's
better
the
than
sort of
art
thing you
cards.
you look at once and then probably never again. But yeah, I think it's pretty
Mm.
cool. Like having said that, I don't generally go my way to buy collector's editions, even steel
Hmm.
books. Like if a steel book
Yep.
is available and it's $5 more, yeah, I'll
Yeah,
buy the
yeah.
steel book every day of the week.
Yes, I'm the same.
But if it's $20 more, no chance.
Yeah.
And I don't, even for stuff I love, I don't go out of my way to grab steel books. I find them kind of, wouldn't say annoying, but yeah, they look different on the shelf, and it's kind of like the slipcase thing or the slip cover thing. When
Hmm.
you've got heaps of
Okay.
stuff with them and then heaps without. That's
Yeah.
kind of annoying, and I see why I don't cull them, but I see why people do because it,
I look, I
yeah,
understand it too. Like I actually had cold my slip covers, had taken them off once and just put them in another cupboard.
yeah,
But in the end, I filled up that cupboard with all my TV on DVD stuff, and I've just putting them back on
Yeah.
the movies themselves. So yeah, I'm the same. I don't chase a slipcover for sure. If it's cool, if it's got one, awesome.
Yeah.
As for steelbooks, the only steelbooks I've ever hunted and really wanted was Lawrence of Arabia.
Yeah.
And I obviously paid a premium for that, but everything else is just.
Isn't that the one they made no money on pretty much because of the...
There wasn't a massive profit margin in it. Yeah, and I was actually talking to my mate today, and that's with steelbooks going forward. Basically, he's saying if you want the steelbook, get it as it's released because because Terminator, as you were talking about Terminator before, that's gone missing. I'm sorry for everyone listening. We're recording this at December 11, 2024. This episode will air probably, I don't know, mid 25. So yeah, Terminator's basically gone missing. You can't buy it anymore, the steelbook. So they're designed now to be sold within 3 months. So because the margins now are so tight, and this is because of the trouble in the Middle East, because they have to be transported by plane, not by ship, and it's much more expensive by plane.
Obviously, yeah.
So yeah, they're keeping their margins low just so they can basically, if they're sold during a sale, they're actually losing money. They're selling them at a loss.
Okay.
So they're pricing them to sell, releasing as many copies to sell quick.
Yep.
So note to anyone out there, if you're looking to get in the steelbooks released in Australia, get them while you can because they might not be around. But yeah.
Yeah, jump on that Fast and the Furious 10 steelbook, everyone.
Jesus. Well, even looking at the Wizard of Oz one that's just come out, that's $80. I love the Wizard of Oz, but I already own it in 4K. I'm not going to pay $80 for a different case for it.
No. I get why people do it. It's that collector mentality. And once you dip your toe in that water, like I watch a couple of YouTubers that are heavily into that whole steelbook life, and I get why they're into it, but my brain just thinks, that's another half a movie that I could buy elsewhere, or a couple of movies if I'm lucky enough to find them in op shops or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you would have CEX stores in Melbourne, yeah? Do you?
Yeah, there's one over the other side of the city, and I thought when I heard that it opened, I thought this is changing my life because I've got 2 boxes of just doubles and stuff, and I thought, I'll go in and I'll trade them.
Don't sell them to them.
No, well, I looked because on their website you can see what their trade value is for stuff, and it's just pathetic. And I'm
ridiculous.
just like, I'd rather fucking give it to someone, which is what caused me to reach out to you. Because I knew you'd also have a box that of just doubles and shit or upgrades. And that's why I said, what do you need out of my box? And you sent me a pack of a dozen things out of your doubles box.
That was great. I've done that with a few people now because of this show. It's been great. Like Movie Pen Pals, it's been awesome. Yeah. Got rid of a lot of my shit and picked up some new stuff. That's. Yeah, if anyone wants to join in on that, reach out to either of us.
Yeah, well, that's it. I've got, after today's JB effort, I've got Gattaca, 12 Monkeys, and something else all on Blu-ray, a Videodrome that I've replaced on 4K. So my Arrow video box that it's your fault that I placed that order arrived today.
Yes, I arrived today, did it? Yeah.
So you're influencing, that cost me $200. Yeah. Telling me about that sale. Yeah, that arrived today.
Can't believe I'm a legitimate influencer.
Yeah,
that's
great.
It.
Put it on your resume.
I actually have my Demolition Man got sent today, and a few others. I actually went back and ordered a few more because I had points to use. So I got 3 4Ks for it was $80 delivered from the UK. That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah, what were they? I'm gonna tell you what they were because we've got time. Good radio. This.
Yeah.
I picked up Robin. The reason I did it. And it's kind of.
This sounds like a caveat. This sounds like.
Yeah, there's a caveat, and I'm going to sound like an old drunk man talking at the bar. Nice. But the reason I did it is because I brought some from Rare Waves, which I also influenced you on Rare Waves.
Yeah, 100%.
Because I got you to get the Red Dwarf box set.
Correct. Yeah, which I'm almost finished, by the way.
Oh, are you? Yeah, nice.
Yeah, we're in Series 8 now. So that's caused me to, of course, buy Series...
Yes. Back to Earth.
10, Back to Earth, Series 10, 11. Anyway.
I have to get those too. I do own them all on iTunes as well because I got them cheap. Well, I actually didn't get them cheap. I brought them because I wanted to show my son. And I did, but yeah. So back to the reason why I bought these extra arrows before I say what they are. During the Rare Wave sale, I picked up Mary Shelley's Frankenstein
Okay,
and Children of the Corn, the Arrow releases. They were two
cool.
for £30, so two for $60. And that's actually not bad. And then there was an extra 10% off or something on all that. So I picked them up. And then when the Arrow Black Friday sale came, like 2 weeks later, they were in my cart and I got them again. So I got doubles of those. And I'm like, fuck, actually going to try and sell them on eBay, get something back, because
Yeah,
that's a bit of money. That's a bit of pain to take. But anyway, so I went back because their Black Friday sale went for quite a while. I picked up Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, The Last Starfighter, and Flatliners. So I had quite a few points to use, so I just used them and got. I don't know. I thought that was a pretty reasonable deal for 4Ks that
yeah, nice.
I'm not going to be able to get in Australia. So,
So what did you buy twice? Mary Shelley's Frankenstein and what else?
Children of the Corn.
Okay.
I've
I
not
have
seen
neither of
either of
those.
them, but
Maybe offline you can send me your
yeah, yeah.
PayPal deets.
Okay,
Yeah.
righto.
Save
Well, we
you
can talk
save you
about that.
some eBay fees.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, happy to do that. No,
yeah,
no drama. Yeah, cool. All right, we'll talk after the show.
yeah,
We haven't got through many of the questions, which is it's a good thing for me because I'll talk about this shit all day. Do you have any? When we're talking about Arrow, everything just leads into the next. Do you have
yeah.
any favorite labels or
Yeah,
distributors?
I'm a big fan of Arrow. I'm a big fan of Umbrella stuff. Yeah, I find Umbrella rarely steer me wrong. Like I tend to just vibe with pretty much anything that they release on that
Okay.
label. I don't know why.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
just really like, and I even like the whole clear case thing for their blues. I
yeah,
don't know. I just like the aesthetic of it. Yeah, Arrows. I'm a big fan of Arrow. So, and I'm a big fan of, and I've bought quite a few lately Criterion stuff.
yeah.
So like I have those labels sort of separated in my collection. So,
Yep.
I have Criterion Blues and 4Ks all mixed up just
Hmm.
alphabetically, and I do the same with my
Okay.
Arrow stuff. Kino Lorber and Kino Cult are all
Hmm.
together. Yeah, Arrow, Umbrella, and VS stuff. And I have a whole heap of
Right.
those. There was Cult Classics. It was like a grey. They're all grey Blu-ray
Oh, yeah,
covers.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, of
Yep.
Cinema Cult. Oh, I can't remember what they're
Cinema
called.
Cult. Yeah, they're the
Yeah,
ones because
I
I've
have
got
a
I've
whole
got a
heap
few
of
of those
them
as
as
well.
well. So
Yeah.
they're all together as
Yep.
well. And then the rest is all kind of alphabetical, I guess. Yeah.
That's just on your Criterion stuff because I mean my Arrow 4Ks are all just within my 4Ks. I separate mine are Blu-rays alphabetical, then 4Ks alphabetical
Yep.
on different shelves. But I mix my arrows in with the and Kino in with those 4Ks.
Yep.
But my Criterion I do have separately with other collector. Like I have movie label. I have those with my
Yep.
Criterions, like in the same zone.
Yep.
But I sort my Criterions by the spine number.
Gotcha. Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's hardcore Criterion collecting. I
I,
wish I had a
yeah.
collection of Criterions big enough to justify that.
I
I've got probably less than 20, I guess.
I'm gonna look at mine because I picked up I because in Australia Criterion is really hard to come by,
Yeah.
and I've picked up 10 recently in those sales because they were pretty for us. They were relatively cheap
Yeah.
on
Yeah. A
Amazon
lot were like
and
around
Rare
the
Waves.
$23 mark,
Yeah,
which is about $1.50 US these days,
yeah, that's
almost.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I have 43 Criterion as we speak.
Yeah,
So
nice. That's a fair collection.
yeah, it's actually about almost twice as much as I thought I had, but picking up 10 recently.
Yeah.
They're not normally ones I buy blind. Like I'll normally buy Criterion movies that I know, but I brought a few because they were cheaper. I brought a few. Like I'll look them up and read about them first. So I picked up a few blind buys on there recently. Funnily enough, yesterday was it yesterday on the weekend? Maybe I watched the Fast Times at Ridgemont High,
Yep.
thinking I'd never seen it, and I watched it. I'm like, I've seen this, like,
Yeah.
and but I would have been probably 10 when I watched it. So
Yep.
because it was the 80s, we watched whatever the fuck was on TV. The parents didn't care what you saw back then.
Yep.
Yeah, and really liked it. Like I'm glad I got it. So yeah,
Yeah, no.
yeah, I totally agree with the Arrow stuff though. That's I'm a big Arrow fan.
Yep.
Yeah, they do good work. This is going to lean into your thoughts on the quality of stuff that you watch. But do you have any thoughts on any transfers that you own that are really great? Like any stand
Um,
out to you?
One that I always put on for other people, and I don't know if this is deemed to be a great transfer or not, but
Mm.
it's the very first 4K like UHD I ever purchased was The Martian,
Oh yeah.
and I love that film.
Yep.
It's just sciencey enough to be interesting to me. I read the book as well
Mm.
by, I think,
Okay.
Mike Weir is the guy's name. Yeah, Andy Weir, that's right. Yeah, so yeah, I don't know. For some reason, if people come over and they're like, "What's with the 4K thing?" which happens less and less now with streaming, people get what
Mm.
4K is about. But
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was a real early adopter of 4K,
Okay.
so I'd put that on for people all the time. That or The Revenant,
Yeah.
yeah, that was a
The Revenant is
bit of a
astonishing.
mind fuck as a film. Like it's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
So yes, I'm not a real like I'm a bit of a quality snob. Like I'd rather have it on 4K if it's available.
Yep.
Like today I went
Hmm.
into JB as we discussed and they had the Substance on
Oh,
DVD and
yes.
Blue, but for some
Yeah.
reason the 4K's not come out yet. Whether
It's
it's a
coming out.
delay.
It's coming out in May. It's on their website now. Coming out in
Yeah,
May in
see,
Australia.
fucking hell. And I've not seen it
Yeah.
yet. So I'm fanging because
Oh,
everyone keeps telling me how amazing it is.
it is great.
And I
It
had
is
the
so good.
Blu-ray in my hand, and I'm like, no, and I checked their website. It is coming on 4K, so
Mm.
I've waited. But I just hope, because I've heard there's twists and turns and stuff. I hope it doesn't get spoiled for me. Because do you know,
Yeah.
here's a interesting piece of trivia. As a
Hmm.
film buff, I've still
Hmm.
never seen Fight Club.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it's one of those films
Oh
because it was
wow.
spoiled for me. I'm
Yes.
like, well, what's the fucking point now?
Yeah, that
Like
sucks.
I have it on Blue and I'll get around to
Yeah.
watching it one day. As we discussed, I've got heaps that I haven't seen. So I've got a nice slipcover version there. So I'll definitely get around to seeing it. But because it was spoilt for me, it kind of, I don't know, took the
That
gloss off it.
sucks hard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I'm just like, oh, yeah, no. So I'll get to it eventually.
I have one movie like that, and that was The Crying Game, which I've never seen for
Yeah,
similar
same.
reasons.
Same. I've
Yeah.
never got around to that.
Nah.
I don't own it either. Like, so,
No, no, I don't own it. I had an opportunity to own it, and I just never did because, again, I'm not going to watch it. So what's the point?
yeah.
And yeah, but even knowing Fight Club, still worth watching. It's still a great movie,
Yeah,
even
yeah,
knowing
and
that.
like a fan of the cast. Obviously, it's pretty good.
Yeah,
Some great
yeah,
actors in it. So yeah, I'll definitely get to it. Maybe that can
yeah.
be a newly retired project for me.
That's Fight Club.
Catch up on some of this stuff that I should have seen that I haven't.
I'll give you a good reason why you should watch it, and because it won't spoil it for you. I mean, most people who've seen Fight Club, they know the ending. I'm including myself in this. I've seen Fight Club a good dozen times.
Yep.
So it's still this movie is still great to watch even when you know the ending.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just
Nice.
it's not just about
All
the
right.
twist. It's there's a lot
I'll
going on.
report back. I'll give it a
Yes, do
look.
that. I would
And
very keen to hear.
we're going away to WA in the caravan for six to
Oh
eight
yeah.
weeks in
Oh
March, April.
nice.
So
Wow.
I bought one of those, zip up disc holders that holds like, 80 discs. And my plan is to just take a whole heap of blues because I bought a little
Sweet.
12-volt Blu-ray player as well.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it
Just
runs
plug
off a
in.
cigarette lighter. Yeah, LG
Yeah,
make one.
nice.
So I'm like,
Oh
okay, I'm going to
damn.
catch up on a whole heap of stuff.
That's hardcore. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
and I don't have to take the covers, so that's my plan. So maybe that can
Yeah.
be, you know, looking
Yeah.
over this Great Australian Bite or
Over the
something.
Nullarbor,
Yeah,
at the Nullarbor. Yeah,
yeah,
wow.
yeah,
That sounds cool.
yeah,
Most people, and this is why I love that answer so much because most people would just download from their streaming service onto their iPad or something and take those instead. But the fact that you've gone bought a special Blu-ray
yeah.
player, that's
I
awesome.
I just figure it's a good way to get through a lot of the collection because I've done that before, USB keyed it, and then I tend to buy these things on disc anyway because I like to have them.
Yes, yeah,
And then I'm like, oh, I watched that, not long ago. So yeah, I figure this way I'll get through a heap of stuff. That's the plan.
yeah. Yeah, that's a good plan, especially eight
Mm.
weeks.
Yeah,
I've got a mate staying away for work at the moment. He's away for 4 days and he's hasn't taken anything with him. He's jonesing to because he's like, I'd just rather be home watching movies. Like he's
yeah,
hating
that's
it.
it.
Yeah.
No, I in the past went away for work. Wouldn't say a lot, but reasonably often, a few times a year, and I'd
Mm.
always take at the very least a laptop with
Yeah.
some stuff on it
Yeah.
because you can't rely on hotel rooms to have decent stuff
God, no.
showing. And yeah,
No,
yeah,
no, no, definitely not. It's always got to get Sky News at the best.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So
that's
that's
it.
about the limit of it. Yeah, cool. I like that. That's When are you leaving?
March. So
Oh, okay.
so we've got a trip to Vietnam booked over New Year's, and
Oh,
then
amazing.
yeah, my wife's taken a couple of months long service, and yeah,
Yep.
so sort of March,
Yeah,
April
sweet.
is the plan. So yeah, should be good.
Living the dream, my man. Living the dream. Making me
Yeah,
sad.
yeah.
Making me sad. It's not
Yeah.
me. So, are you a special features fan? Yeah. Do you watch them? Do you like
No,
to have
not
them?
heaps. Like I have to love the film, right?
Yeah.
So, it has to be a real favorite for me to dip in because again, time's an issue or has been in the past for me. So I
Mm.
think if I spend an hour watching special features for just a
Hmm.
film that I thought was good but not amazing,
Yeah.
again, the way my brain works, I'll be like, yeah, but that's half another film I could watch.
Yeah.
So
That's the correct answer.
yeah, and I'm not big on those collector's editions because no, I'll probably flick through the book
Mm.
maybe and go, yeah, I should read this one day, and
Yeah.
I
Yeah. Yeah.
probably won't ever do it. You know?
Criterion's good for that because
Yeah,
I'll look. I love old movies. Love old movies, and I've got quite a few of my criterions are like old black and white classics from like 30s, 40s through 50s and 60s, etc. And I love having the special features, but I never ever access them. And like you said, they come with the books full of essays and
yeah,
I used to read a lot. I haven't read a book in not a serious book in a while in a long time. So just to sit and read an essay of this movie from someone else's opinion, I'm like, I can't be fucked doing that. Like
yeah,
but I do love having it. It's a weird thing. One day when I retire, maybe I'll sit down
yeah.
and read
That's
these
it.
things.
Yeah,
Yeah,
100%.
yeah. But that's kind of a common answer though. Like it's you know it takes up time of watching another movie. So
Yeah, like visited some of the special features on the Arrow Blue of the Thing that I
oh
had,
yeah,
and then
yep,
obviously I've replaced that with a 4K version. Yeah, because that's one of my all-time faves. And yeah, if I hear like a commentary is pretty good, like
yeah,
really funny or whatever, I'll
hmm,
I'll maybe check that out, but it's rare.
yep.
It really is.
Yeah, I've only ever watched one commentary in my life, and it's from my all-time favorite movie, which made me love it even more. Was 12 Monkeys. That's the only commentary I've ever watched on a movie because I just think it's weird. Although there is a Mike Flanagan, we're talking about Mike Flanagan before. He has a podcast called Director's Commentary.
Yep.
So he actually has a filmmaker on, and basically the podcast is in three acts. And they just introduce themselves, then they watch one of the director's films, and they comment, and they just do commentary as you're watching the film as
Okay.
they watch it. It's really great. Like he's had some really good guests on there and good movies they've watched. So, but
Yep.
I don't watch the movie with them. I just kind of listen to the podcast as I'm walking around because they don't talk about the movie that much. It's kind of about the inside story of how they did things. So, yeah, for me, that's a great way to listen to directors' commentaries. Is just not while you're watching something.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's why you make this podcast for us to enjoy this stuff offline. And like I said to you
Yeah.
before, like I listen to these episodes either at the gym or sometimes on
Mm.
my commute because I listen to a lot of music at home, being the
Yeah.
vinyl collector. Yeah, I don't tend to listen to heaps of music in the car for whatever reason.
No, I don't either.
So yeah,
Yeah.
I'll listen to podcasts and
Mm.
stuff like that. Just I don't know. Yeah, I find it more interesting in the car.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Okay. Yeah, I listen to them in the car or when I'm out walking, which is quite a bit lately. So that's yeah, I don't listen to them at home. Like I won't put a podcast on while I'm just laying in bed or something. That's maybe while I'm cooking dinner, but that's about it.
I bought some of those sleep headphones. So I've been,
Oh
the
yeah.
ones you can lie on,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I've been, yeah, listening to the odd podcast whilst lying in
That's
bed
cool.
with
Yeah,
my
that's
brain that won't turn off. I find it
yeah,
hard to
yeah.
sleep sometimes.
Help you
Yeah, and it,
relax.
it just and it just makes it feel like if you're going to be lying there not able to sleep, at least be a
Mm.
little bit productive, I guess, or
Yeah, I
do
agree. Yeah.
something you enjoy. So,
Tick something off.
and
Yeah.
it doesn't then piss my wife off,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
she can't hear it. So yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Hmm.
I should look into those.
Yeah, they were like
Uh,
27 bucks on Amazon.
oh, for real.
Yeah, like
Okay.
they're ridiculously cheap and they work pretty well. Like,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
obviously for podcasts, the sound
Yeah.
quality doesn't have to be amazing. So yeah,
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So yeah, okay. I'll have to look into that too, actually. Although I don't have anyone to bother, but that's all right. Maybe one day some
that's
poor
it.
bitch shouldn't say that, but some poor woman will
She'd be lucky to have you,
join the
Adam. Come
ranks.
on.
Yeah, well, the last few were, but they don't say that. That's all good.
As you just, what's the saying? You gotta slay a few dragons before you find your princess. So,
That's about right. Mate, I'm actually very happy single, very happy.
yeah,
Yeah,
nice.
yeah, I'm not in any hurry at all.
Good stuff.
Yeah, yeah. What's your home setup like with your media? So your TV and
Yeah,
what?
so I recently upgraded my TV. So, and talk about influencers and enablers. So I went to a friend's place and he's got a theater room.
Oh yeah,
And we watched one of the newer Godzilla films. I can't remember which one. I think the last one that came out on physical, whatever it was. It's one of
yeah.
those crossover ones.
Godzilla X Kong. Yeah,
Yeah, I think it was that.
yeah.
And it's just such a bigger event and stuff. And I had a
Mm.
65-inch Panasonic OLED,
Oh wow.
which was
Can't even buy them anymore.
it was nice TV. It's now in my daughter's
Yeah,
bedroom. She's 19, so she's doing all
yeah,
right.
yeah.
And so I bought myself an 85-inch Samsung, the QLED Neo or whatever it
Mm-hmm.
was. It was like
Yeah,
6K down to 4.5. Got it on
yeah. Right.
a good sale. So I've got that, and I've got just the I think it's the Q990D Atmos soundbar setup
Oh
with
yeah.
the rears.
Yep.
I used to have a full Atmos setup with floor
Mm.
standers and all that stuff. And then when we recarpeted the house during COVID, I obviously had to take everything out, and we kind of got enamored with the less clutter.
Yeah.
So we
Yeah.
never set it back up. And that's why
Oh.
I've now just gone to the sound bar and the
Yeah.
two smaller rears. And
Mm-hmm.
there's no doubt it's not as good, but
Yeah.
it's a lot
Good
easier
enough.
to live with
Yeah.
than speaker boxes kind of everywhere.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
when
Yeah.
I didn't have a dedicated theatre room and don't have room for one. So yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. I like my sound more than my picture quality. I prefer good sound than picture quality.
yeah.
Although, yeah, like I think it makes the experience a bit more immersive for me. Yeah. So what's your 4K player? Do you have the standard
The
820?
the I think yes, I think the
Yeah.
UB stands for ubiquitous, doesn't it? In
Yeah,
that
mine too.
model
Yeah,
number.
yeah.
Fucking hell, everyone's
Yeah.
got them. I've also
I
got a
I
Sony.
don't
Is it the
have a
K700? I've got one of
yeah,
those
that's
in
the
the
X700.
bedroom, X700.
That's what I've got. Yeah.
Yeah, so I've
I
got
think
one of
it's a
those in the bedroom connected to just a TCL 55
yep,
inch. Like I think it's a
yep.
mini LED TV. Does the job.
Okay.
The OS is dog
Oh,
shit, but the screen
yes.
quality's remarkable for the
I think it's
money.
great.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think
it's
it's a
just the
great player.
OS is terrible.
Yeah, but the thing is, yeah, it is. But again, I use mine to play discs. I don't use it for anything else, and
Yeah,
and yeah, for me, the quality, even at the upscaling of the Blu-rays, that some
yeah,
Blu like that's why I didn't bother with Terminator because my Terminator Blu-ray is spectacular.
yeah,
I'm like, I don't see the point in paying $55 to
yeah,
upgrade this movie
yeah,
that I've seen twice in my life. So
yeah.
yeah, yeah, I'm a big fan of the X700. I've not got an 820 because I've just seen so many people complaining about them now.
I think it's a bit of a crapshoot. I have literally
Mm,
not had
mm,
one problem with mine. But I had the model before, I think it was
mm.
called the UB900, and it had a glass
Yeah,
plate on the front. That I had nothing but problems with.
right.
So, which is
Okay.
why when the 820 came out, I like bought
Mm.
that, and I must have got a good one
I
because I've
think
had
it's
no issues, even with discs that other people report issues with. Like I think Twisters was one a lot of people had issues with.
really.
Mine plays perfectly. So
I
yeah,
think it's the newer version. Like, not that there's a newer version, but the first models they built, I think, are the stand-up ones. It's these ones that they've been remaking. I think they've might have cheaped out in some of the parts
yeah, it's
because
probably got a shit laser or transport or something.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, there's
yep,
something not right with them, or the shipping container got dropped or something and just
yeah,
has fried something. You
yeah.
just don't know. Yeah,
Like me as a kid, it happens.
that's funny. So we did speak about this a little bit before. So how do you? Is there any other way you organize your collection other than you
Nah,
spoke
so I've
before?
got a couple of those media shelves similar to these ones. In fact, they're identical to these, spaced though for Blu-rays
Yep.
in the hallway, and so they're all on that. So the only thing special I do is box sets. I just
Hmm.
ran out of room on those shelves,
Yeah. Yeah.
and so box sets now just go on a shelf on another bookcase in the lounge
Hmm.
room just to free up space. And obviously stuff like those Paramount scares box sets just don't fit on a normal Blu-ray shelf, obviously, because
Yeah.
they're quite
Yeah.
big. And
Yeah.
I've got the collector's edition of Parasite as well. That's
Oh,
massive.
yes.
Someone
I've
bought
got
me
that.
that as a
Yeah.
gift. So I just took the disc out of that, put it on the shelf, and the box is on another shelf. So,
Yep.
so yeah, I do that. Like I've got the Friday the 13th box set, like that's over on a shelf as well, because otherwise it just
Hmm.
takes up heaps of room. So I've got a lot of, and yeah, stuff like,
So,
these collector's editions, the second
yeah.
sight ones.
Yep.
Yeah, so they're all on a separate shelf as well, just
Just
purely because of space, really.
Yeah, yeah, I do something similar. Yeah, with the boxes are either on top of the actual shelves or in another shelf
Mm.
by themselves. Do you just sort alphabetically though, with your standard blues?
Yeah, so 4Ks and blues are alphabetical separately, except
Yep,
for, as I said before, apart from certain labels that
labels. Yep.
I enjoy more than others, like all my
Mm,
Arrow stuff's together. VVE, I think, is together as well. Vinegar
yep.
Syndrome. I've probably got 5, 6 labels where I've just sorted them alphabetical, and 4Ks are with blues.
Yeah.
The rest is all kind of separated.
Okay.
Yeah, so yeah, and
Yeah,
just
that makes
alphabetical. TV's separate.
yes,
Yeah, I've got
yes,
TV stuff, and DVD is separate again. I
yes.
don't have
Yeah.
a whole lot of DVDs because again,
Mm,
I only tend to keep one format. So as
okay.
soon as I buy a Blu-ray that replaces a DVD, the DVD goes in the
Yeah.
swap pile, and it's
Hmm.
the same when I buy a 4K, the Blu-ray. The only things I've kept is the thing. I kept the Arrow version I had, because of the extras and stuff on that, because
Yep.
it's one of my favorite films, and then put
Yeah.
the 4K in the 4K section. So yeah,
That's pretty much exactly how I do mine as well. Like
yeah,
pretty much to the word. There was one thing I don't know, you might find this interesting. I just had a thought literally on the weekend with my jukebox, a juke, not juke. I went through that box and because I've obviously upgraded a lot of Blu-rays to 4K, I went through my those 4Ks and just to see whether they come with a Blu-ray or not.
yep,
So if they don't have the Blu-ray with them, I've actually put that Blu-ray aside that I've upgraded to keep so I have both discs.
yep,
And I've actually ordered some dual 4K cases
yep,
from eBay, so I'm gonna replace those
yeah,
and put the
nice.
Blu-ray in with it. So I probably gave quite a few of those away to yourself and Jem and Shane as well when we did our movie swaps.
Yep.
And I'm like, some of those I probably shouldn't have given away, but it's not the end of the world. They'll never use them, but it's going to be good to have the 4K and the Blu-ray, I think,
Yeah,
at some point. Because I mean, something like you're doing, you can't buy, well, as far as I know, a portable 4K player, so you can get the portable Blu-ray player, right? So,
yeah. I'm not that I'm aware of, but who knows? Like you don't know
mm,
what's out there until you like find a need for it, and then you start looking
yeah,
at really.
that's right. Yeah,
Yeah. So I'm not aware of one, but who knows? Someone might make a
yeah, there
12
might be
volt one.
something. Yeah.
Yeah,
Do you have anything that you regret buying?
heaps of stuff. Like,
Oh, wow.
oh yeah, like
Okay.
and not a big regret, like, but yeah, there's stuff that I've bought and then I've watched and I've thought I'm literally never going to watch this again,
Okay.
but I just chalk that down to, it's part of my collection now.
Yeah.
There's
No
not
plans to
too
get
many
rid of it.
things. Nah,
No.
nah, yeah, like, I don't know, because I haven't gone out of my way to buy anything like super expensive or rare
Yeah.
or out of print, like, I'm sure I have bought stuff unknowingly that's out of print and I've got a great bargain or whatever.
Mm.
So yeah, probably the most I've spent on anything would be, I don't know, maybe 60, $80 for a collector's edition or a big box set. Like I said, that Columbia Classics box set. I think I got that for
Yeah.
$80 when when it came out, Amazon had a sale on or whatever,
Yep.
and then flipped it for more than 500. So
Yeah.
yeah, like it
Crazy.
was going for crazy money. Yeah, so no, like there's regret and there's regret. Nothing that I
Yeah.
can't live with that's going to keep me up at night. Put it that
Yeah.
way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but certainly plenty of things that I've watched once and will never watch again.
Yep. Yeah. I could say the same. I couldn't think of a title at the moment, but yeah, I like to give movies a second chance, or at least even three chances. I mean, it took me three chances with Lord of the Rings to finally realize it's actually good. So
Yeah, I'm that
yeah,
like that. I enjoyed Lord of the Rings, but I found that I couldn't get into The Hobbit at all. And it's
I've not even
interesting.
tried it. Not
Yeah,
tried The
okay, because
Hobbit.
I loved the book as a kid. Like I read
Yeah,
it, I think the first time when I was maybe 13 or 14. And it kind of, yeah, really opened my eyes up to fantasy and stuff
yeah,
because I hadn't read any prior to that. Yeah, but for some reason, I don't know, the movie just never grabbed me, the first one, and I've never tried to
yep.
watch the others. But it's another thing I keep looking at during JB sales. They have that box set for like I
Mm,
think it's $80. Normally it comes down to like $60 during the sale
yeah.
or whatever.
I'd recommend it. I mean, if you they look for me, they look stunning in 4K. I think
Mm.
they're fantastic, and I think that might have been part of why I was able to enjoy them a bit more as well, just
Yeah,
from the way it looked. Because I probably watched them on dodgy old DVDs and
yeah,
yeah, maybe downloaded versions. I don't know, like pirated stuff. So, but yeah, like yeah, it was weird. Like I finally loved them. Like I loved them. So, and then
yeah,
after I finished watching them, I went out and actually bought the Hobbit box set because that was actually on sale as well, and I haven't opened it. So yeah,
yeah,
I've got lots of unopened things
yeah,
that I need to
same.
open one day. Yeah.
I did a big thing one day. I just cracked the shits and opened, I reckon, 250 movies in
Yeah.
a day, purely just because I was sick of seeing so many things on the shelf in cellophane. You know what I mean? And I'm like, yeah, I'm over this. It just makes me look like a collector who's, not
Yeah.
watching any of this shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm like, no, I'm going to open them, and then I'll be more likely to watch them. So yeah,
Yeah. That's fair. I literally yesterday, I my Umbrella Black Friday sales arrived, and Whiplash was $15 in 4K, and I went and put that on the shelf and got my Whiplash from the Blu-ray shelf to put away in the jukebox, and I've seen Whiplash three times at least, still in the plastic. I'm like, well, how the hell have I watched this for three times if it's still in the plastic? I
yeah.
don't know. I don't know. I couldn't answer it, but I must have watched it on a streaming service a couple of times. I don't know, but
Or someone sneaking in and replacing it just to
put,
fuck with
putting
you.
the plastic back on. Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe.
try
Yeah.
and turn you crazy slowly. Just
In my
death
house,
by a
they'd do
thousand cuts.
trying to gaslight me.
Yeah, that's it.
I already think I'm going crazy anyway at certain points. I don't need any help.
Yeah.
Is there anything? I know we are talking about the substance before, so this might be your answer. But is there anything you're looking forward to being released?
There's a few things that are certainly are wants for me, either on
Mm,
blue or 4K.
mm.
Grandma's Boy is something that sticks out to me. That's
Okay.
a great comedy film that I love. It's one of my faves, and
Is
it's DVD only, I think.
is that the Adam Sandler's buddy, his mate, or was that? I
Yeah,
think
so it's
Swardston.
it's basically about a heap of guys who work at a video game company, and yeah,
Right.
it's got Doris Roberts in it. So
Okay.
yeah, so this guy ends up living with his grandma and two of her friends. So
Yeah, you're right. Sorry,
yeah,
my
yeah,
mistake.
so
Okay.
yeah, no, that's essentially the film. So yeah,
Okay.
it's one of my favorites. Very funny film.
I think I've heard of it.
Yeah,
So
so
is that getting a Blu-ray?
no, I wish it would. Well, as far as
Ah,
I'm aware, there isn't one.
is there anything coming that you want? Is there anything that you know is coming that you're looking forward to?
Yeah, certainly the substance, only because so many people. I think The Village is finally coming, isn't it? Yeah,
Yes.
they've finally announced that,
That'll
along
be
with some
next year
other
sometime.
others of his. So I'll probably pick all those up because I'm a fan of his work,
Yeah. We're
for the
getting the
most
visit
part.
too. You're going to get the visit?
Yeah,
Keno.
yeah, I've
Yeah.
got that already, but that's a must upgrade. So
Mm.
yeah, I don't tend to look, I guess, too far ahead. Like if I hear that things are coming, or I don't know, hear about it on a podcast maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
then I'll kind of get a bit amped and think, oh, if that's finally coming. But yeah, Tombstone's another one that's I'd
Oh,
love to
yeah.
have on 4K. I love that film.
Yeah. Well, that's kind
Um,
of answering my next question. Is there anything you want to come to 4K? So that's a good answer though. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, Tombstone certainly. It's another film. Should have a bit of a like I don't know. It's a bit of an embarrassing film to like, but it's a movie called Pootie Tang. and it
Oh
was
yeah.
it's
Didn't Louis C.K. direct that?
I think so, yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
got like Chris Rock in it, and yeah, it's
yeah,
a
yeah,
weird film.
yeah.
But a mate and I kind of got into that back in the day. So yeah,
I love that. It's
yeah, it's such a weird
mate,
film.
we like what we like.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. We've all got little, skeletons in the closet, I guess.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, yeah, I mean, there's got a few movies running through my head right now that I could probably say the same, but
yeah. Like a lot of my
mate,
favorites are in that bent. Like Tremors is probably one of my
oh
favorite
yeah,
films of all time.
Tremors is good though.
Yeah,
Tremors
yeah.
is great. I've never seen any of the others, but Tremors is.
I think I've seen two and maybe three. I think two had
Mm,
Fred Ward in it, but no Kevin
okay.
Bacon because he'd got famous by then
Yeah,
and they
yeah.
probably couldn't afford him. But I think Fred Ward was in two from memory. I could be wrong. And I think I saw that back in the day on VHS, and that's kind of where it stopped. And I think there's seven. There's seven movies.
Yeah, yeah. I actually saw on Amazon, it might have even been today. It's the DVDs, but the entire Tremors collection. It's not much, but it's only DVDs. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. But I kind of really try to refrain from watching the sequels to some horror movies because it just kind of ruins the legacy of how good the other ones are.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
interested to see Smile too for that reason. Because I,
yeah,
I was one of it seems, few people who really liked the first film. It's not overly
yeah.
popular.
No, I wasn't a big fan of Smile. It's up there with a lot of modern horror, like Megan and Malignant, where I mean the execution of Malignant's really good, but I just hated the story of it.
I don't think I've seen Malignant. I've seen Megan.
Yeah, Megan's. I think I need to rewatch Megan because I actually think I own it because I plan to rewatch it because I heard someone talk about it and basically they reckon it was like the funniest comedy that came out. Like I think came out 23, didn't it?
Yeah,
So I want to rewatch it knowing it's probably supposed to be a comedy, more than a horror movie in quotes. Yeah, I'm sure I have Megan. Annoying. Oh yeah, because it's called Me Three again. Me
yeah,
Three again.
that's it.
Yes. So I do have it. Yeah, 2022. Anyway, even no, that was this year, but Immaculate with Sydney Sweeney.
Yeah,
That
I
wasn't
bought
great.
that. I haven't got to it
Yep.
yet. I bought it on Blu-ray. Yeah, if it's got Sydney Sweeney in it, I'm going to check it out. I'm a man after all.
Mate,
We're
not gonna
simple
argue.
beings. We're
No
simple
judgment.
beings.
Absolutely we are. And she's dressed in a nun suit the whole fucking time. She knows what she's doing for
Yeah,
crying out loud.
yeah, 100%. Either
Yeah,
that or someone is advising her the roles to take.
yeah, yeah, yeah. How
You
many
know,
times have you watched that? What was that one? The one they made in Australia with her and Glenn Powell? The hell was that called?
yeah, I've seen
It's
it. I forget what it's
yeah,
called. Yeah,
something about you, not
yeah,
you. Well, I don't know.
yeah. Yeah, I've only watched it the once, but yeah,
Same, yeah.
yeah,
But that's good though. I actually
yeah.
quite like that.
Yeah, it was decent.
I mean, it made a lot of money for probably obvious reasons, but the fact that that it's not shit is also why it made a lot of money.
Yeah,
It's kind of a good old fashioned 90s style rom com, I thought. So
yeah.
that that's what made me like it more than the obvious stuff.
He's like
Mate,
charismatic and a decent,
he's he's
you know,
famous skyrocketed. He's
yeah.
drank the golden juice somewhere
He's
in Hollywood.
he's the Ed Sheeran of the movie industry, I reckon. He's riding his fucking 15 minutes.
Yeah,
He's
well,
just gonna make hay while the sun shines.
I'm kind of under the impression that I think he joined the Illuminati and they've made him what he is because he was on the low fringes for such a long time. Like
Isn't he in Dark
he's
Knight Rises or something I don't know if I heard that or
he's nothing. His biggest role up until the last couple of years was pretty much the lead in Linklater's Everybody Wants Some, and
oh
he's
yeah.
great in that and he's charismatic. But the way his fame has just shot through the roof, it just makes me think something sus, conspiracy behind it. But I mean, he's great. Like he's a charming motherfucker, and he's a handsome guy.
Yeah.
And the movies he's been in have been like I really liked Hitman. Twisters was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I enjoyed
Um,
Twisters. Hitman,
yeah,
I thought was okay. I thought that it was, like a lot of films, it sort of probably didn't resolve itself. But it was never
maybe
gonna like
no.
Trap is the same. Have you watched Trap?
Yeah, I like Trap though.
Yeah, so did
Trap,
I. I loved it,
yeah,
but it was always
yeah.
going to be a hard movie to resolve and people be happy with it because of
Oh,
the premise.
yeah,
Like
Well,
as it's unfolding, I'm like, how the fuck are they going to wrap this movie up? Like,
yeah,
how's this
exactly.
going to play out?
Shyamalan actually admitted he wrote that movie pretty much as a showcase for his daughter's music. That's
Yeah.
pretty much why he wrote it, like to boost her music career, which is kind of shitty nepo baby type of stuff. But
No, good luck to
I
them.
mean,
Like if I could do that for my daughter, I'd be fucking doing it tomorrow,
absolutely, of
100%.
course, yeah,
FYI,
yeah.
Glenn Powell is in Dark Knight Rises as trader number one.
Okay, there
There
you
you
go.
go. So he's
Yep.
gone from trader number one to being fucking movie star number one.
The leading man in Hollywood at the moment. I think like he's going to take over. Well, I think I read something that in the next, because they are making another Top Gun, that he will be basically the next Tom Cruise. Like he's taking over Cruise's.
Maybe Tom Cruise will get goosed, you
Yeah,
reckon?
maybe.
At the
Do you know
start
they
of Top
probably
Gun
would?
3.
They probably would do that because they're the type of movies that just try and fuck with your emotions and manipulate you. So they'll
Yeah,
probably do that. They did it with the Val Kilmer stuff. Like that was nice and it was touching, but it's so manipulative.
yeah.
Try and spit that out. Yeah.
It would
Good
be
movie.
good though to see him like get ingested into a jet engine or something, be fucking and spat
like
out
a,
the other
like a
side.
seagull. Yeah.
That's it.
Actually,
That's
speaking of it,
copyrighted, FYI, if you're listening.
yes. If
Yeah,
anyone's listening,
that's
yeah, that
our
might
idea. Adam and
the
I want
idea.
writing
Recorded on
credits.
December 11, 2024.
That's it.
Where are we up to? Oh, what are the main places you buy your media from?
Probably like JB. Like I like to go into JB and browse the
Mm.
shelves. Obviously,
Did
you know,
your store have a big physical media presence? Do you have a few
no,
stores
not
around you that you
anymore. Just
visit, or?
recently, they downsized, and it's fair to
Mm.
say I didn't take that well. And I felt sorry
Mm.
for the chick at the counter who I fucking gave a massive spray to.
Oh no.
I wasn't
Uh,
mean to her, but I go,
uh,
can you tell the manager next time they decide to reduce the movie size to not do it when the fucking horror buy two get one free sales on?
yeah,
Because
yeah, that's
they used
yeah,
to have a really good horror only section, so I'd go straight there.
yes,
And
yep,
when a sale like that was on, you go, okay, I'm going to base myself here. I'm going to pick my 3, 6, 9, sometimes 12 films, go home a very happy boy. But when you're having to go through all the other shit, to find, and I've found too with JB now, a lot of the
mm.
times they don't sticker stuff because obviously it's a massive overhead to de-sticker shit at the end of the sale. So there's stuff in there buy two get one free sales that don't have the stickers on them in store.
That my local store is a small store, and they do that too. It pisses me off. I'm always on my phone, like looking up
Yeah, I
what's
know.
actually on sale. It's a pain in the ass.
I go to the food court and fucking like get a coffee and place a click and collect order for a store that's 200 meters away.
Oh wow.
Yeah, just so I know I'm going to get things at the right price. It's
Oh no, you'll
ridiculous.
get them at the right price. I argue with them at the counter all the time.
Oh, do
Like I
you?
just said,
Nice.
that's in the sale. Like that's in the sale, and I'll say it's on you. I'll show them the image on the phone. Like here you go,
All right,
and they
maybe I'll do
lower
that
it.
next time.
Oh, absolutely. Because if you place the click and collect, might be why your stores you're to blame. It
Oh,
might be
okay.
why your store's media presence has reduced because they'll count that as an online sale. That's not like
Yeah,
an in
gotcha.
store.
Yeah,
So they're like, okay, well, people are buying it online, so we can reduce in store. Yeah.
yeah.
So I heard that
My
told once
my
upon a
store,
time.
yeah, reduced it to fit in like small appliances. So,
Yeah.
you can go in and maybe find some movies, but if you want an air fryer or a fucking hair straightener, like JB's, you go,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
a Dyson fan,
It's bullshit, right? Like
they
I go into
fucking killed
mine.
all their competitors and
Yeah. Oh
now have
yeah.
gone, oh, we're walking away from physical
Yeah.
media. And it's only a matter of time before they do that to video games as well. They fucking killed all their
Yes.
video game competitors, apart from EB Games.
Yeah.
And how
Yeah.
the fuck they're still open is beyond me because it's so
That's
expensive.
a money laundering front. I mean, those stores have
Maybe
got to
it's a
be.
tax write-off for another business,
Mm,
probably. So yeah, that's what they did. They essentially killed all or the majority of their competitors,
yeah.
and now I've gone, oh well, now that it's not as popular anymore, which is bullshit too, because we all know
Yeah.
that it's rebounding like vinyl
Oh, absolutely
has.
it is.
And
Absolutely it
so,
is.
in 5 years' time, they'll be
Mm,
extending these areas of the store and begging us to
yep.
come back and buy shit. And
Yeah.
Jeff Bezos will be a fucking mega
Yeah.
billionaire by then.
Well, he already is, but yeah, I
Mm.
totally feel what you're saying. My local store is. I have a few around me, which I'm kind of lucky, but I mean the traffic up here is a pain in the dick at the best of times, so
Yeah,
I don't go to them as much. But my local, which is like 5 minutes across the road, it has a small store. It's inside of Westfield, So the physical media actually was like there was when it first opened, there was just shelves of DVDs, shelves of Blu-rays, and then a 4K, a whole aisle of 4K.
Yeah.
And then that reduced. Then they contracted them to put the DVDs in, the Blu-rays, and so they got rid of shelves. And then they actually reduced another row of shelves to put in fucking board games. Not
Yeah, I
even
know.
small appliances. It's just board games because the store I is not a home store, so it doesn't sell fridges and stuff
Oh,
like that.
yeah.
It sells TVs and small appliances and phones and shit like that.
Yeah, same as mine, really. Yeah.
And it's so frustrating to go in there and have everything reduced all the time. But I don't think they'll get out of the physical media game. It makes them money and it brings people into the store. And being that they're the only ones in Australia that sell physical as a bricks and mortar, like I don't think they can or would do it, especially when you've got all interactive distribution doing what they've done with physical media in Australia and bigger plans coming from them. Physical media is going to do all right in Australia, and I think, like you said, it will really. I hold hope. I'm pretty positive about it that they will extend. But my biggest fear is that might go fully the way of vinyl, where it's going to cost so much per movie. Like right now, so not some movies are like exorbitantly priced. I mean, there's reasons for that. But most movies you still get $35 or less, right? In the 4K
Yeah.
market.
Yeah.
But with vinyl, man, I picked up vinyl and instantly, like, I picked up a Pearl Jam and it's like $70. I'm like, $70 for a fucking Pearl Jam record.
Yeah.
Like that instantly, I'm like, well, I'm not going to buy a record player. Why would I? If they
Yeah.
were 25, $30, I'd probably be buying vinyl right now.
Yeah, like when people say to me, I've got a collection of around 2,000 records, and people say to me, "Oh, I want to get into collecting vinyl. What should I do?" And my first answer is invent
Don't.
a time machine
Yeah, yeah,
and go back in
yeah,
time, fucking 10 years.
yeah,
Because even like, and I'm not talking about, going back to the 70s. Like, I'll give you an
mm,
example. I reckon maybe 7, 8 years ago, I bought an Alice in Chains record at my local JB Hi-Fi for $29. On the
yeah.
secondary market,
Wow.
that record sells for $400 now
Jesus.
because it's out of print and,
Yeah,
hard rock and metal collectors are just
yeah,
nuts.
yeah.
So, the whole market has just gone crazy.
This this is why I think our movie collections are gonna be worth money because the biggest seller on the planet is nostalgia. So in 10 years, when I also have this weird, well, it might not be weird, but this strong hot take that I think streaming is not going to it's not going to be the way it is now in 5, 10 years time. By 2030, streaming is going to be a very different game again. I think the industry is realizing that it's not sustainable. Like they're all losing too much money.
Yeah, there's
It's,
not enough quality media
it's
to
saturated.
be across all these
It's
streaming
yeah,
platforms. So there'll probably be two or three mega platforms.
yeah. I mean, Netflix will be one of them. Strangely, I don't know why, because they're the biggest trash network. They're the biggest trash streamer. I don't even have Netflix, because I just don't find anything on there attractive to watch for
Yeah,
me. Like it's just, especially their original stuff. Like I'll get it back when they bring Stranger Things season 5 back and maybe Squid Game. But until then, I'm not going to bother, and I'll just get it for those months and then get rid of it. So,
yeah,
uh, and I mean, and no one is the biggest. I get so many emails from Netflix saying, "Come back and join us." From as low as 7. They're like an ex-missus. Like they just will not leave you alone. So they just harass you so
I've
much to come
changed.
back. It's
I've
like, but they
changed,
don't.
Adam. Take me back.
But they, yeah, that's right. You haven't changed, but they don't offer you any free time. Like, here, come back and we'll give you a month for free. Like Stan did that to me because I didn't have Stan for a couple of years, and they did that. I got one free month, and I haven't left them for like another 2 years because
Yeah,
Stan turned out to be really good. And I don't know. I just don't see it lasting the way it will. I think Disney will. We're talking about the content. There's too much content. There's so much. There's not enough time for everyone to watch it, and then they think, and this is a reason why I stopped watching TV series, is that they fail with the shows because if they don't get instant eyeballs on them, they cancel them. So
yeah,
it's too hard to invest your time in a show for it just to be cancelled.
yeah. And they've gone like the comic industry. The comic industry
Mm,
went, oh, okay, we've got people who like Batman, for example, and people who collect just Batman comics. So what we'll do
mm,
is we'll cross over Batman with
yeah,
these comic
yeah,
franchises. So that'll force Batman fans
hmm
to buy these extra comics.
Yep.
And they're doing that now with all the Marvel shit, like
Yeah.
it's just
Yeah.
like, and the Star Wars
Yep.
stuff, there's
Hmm.
just, like, I recently finally got around to watching Multiverse of Madness.
Oh yeah.
And it fucking only half made sense to me because I haven't seen fucking
Yeah.
WandaVision and all this
Yeah.
shit that I'm meant to
Yep.
have.
Yep.
And I'm like, no, fuck them. I'm not buying into it. Like, I
Thank
picked up
you.
the 4K for cheap. I'm
Yep.
like, if it only half makes sense, it's a fucking Marvel film. That'll be enough. Because they
Yeah.
only half
Yeah.
make sense anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, well, certainly the last half dozen, 10 maybe. So, I just, yeah, I'm not,
They
they're not going to make me watch, 10 hours of some shit. Just,
No, you should not have to watch those shows to understand the movies. I think
no,
that's a fucked up thing to do,
yeah,
and they're doing it to drive people to the streaming platform and plant their eyeballs there. And I watched WandaVision. WandaVision I really liked. I watched the first season of Loki. Will never watch the second. I watched Hawkeye. I actually quite liked Hawkeye. If they make another season, I'll never watch it. I'm just not going to bother with that shit anymore. I'm marveled out for sure. Like I've got
yeah,
burnout. So the last two of their last 10 films have been worth watching, and that was Guardians 3 and Shang-Chi. Like, I really like Shang-Chi. That
yeah.
was awesome.
Yeah, I thought
But
that
other
was
than
pretty
that,
good.
yeah, it's a great 4K. Like, it's stunning
Yeah,
4K. Even though it's a fake 4K, it still looks very, very good. But it's just, yeah, you can't make 10 things and expect all of them to be great. And that's just what streamers do. And it's going to be, I'm going to look at, see what Apple do, because Apple will be the one that lasts. Apple is probably the best streaming service there is quality wise.
yeah. We had that for a while when I got a Apple TV
Ah,
because we
yeah.
got a year of it free, and there are a few
Mm,
things that we watched that I really enjoyed. And I'd like to get back to it, but as we discussed, I've got so much to watch, and yeah.
yeah, yeah. I
So
mean, there's
I,
quite a few bit
I
on
like
Apple
that.
that
Is
is
it
worth watching.
For All Mankind? Is that the
Yeah,
yeah?
that's one of those ones I never got to though. And
Oh, yeah.
Servant,
I really enjoyed that. The whole
yeah.
alternate history bent of that.
Yes. So, and that's
Um,
right up my alley. That's a show I
mm,
should watch. But it's now I look at that and it's like 6 seasons long, and I go, that's going to be like 60 hours of my time. And I'm like, that's 30, 35 movies I should be watching that list as well.
exactly.
So that's another reason I don't watch shows.
Or
Like I
like
recently,
10 Quentin Tarantino films.
or his whole catalog, yeah. I
Yes.
I recently actually finished season one of Silo on there, and I really like Silo. Like people piss themselves, Silo's the best thing since blah blah, and it's not. It's really really good. And I watched the first episode of season two. I'm like, that was a 45-minute episode. Could have been 15 minutes. It was
Mm,
just. And you can just feel them dragging it out. And I don't know. I don't even know if I'll go back to watch the rest of it now because
yeah.
it really pissed me off.
Yeah, it's interesting, like how you can really like latch onto something and love it, and
Mm,
then you can just end up hating it. For me, that
yeah,
was The
yeah.
Boys. Have you watched that?
Oh, I watched season two. I didn't even. I think I watched half of the first episode of season three. I've not put it back on.
I'm exactly the same. I watched the first two seasons, quite
Yep,
enjoyed it. I
yep,
watched the first episode of season three, and I'm like,
yep,
this is just, it's like the writers go, okay, let's try and think of a ridiculous premise, and
yeah,
we'll work the rest of the script
yep,
around that ridiculous premise.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I'm just like, okay, I'm out. Like, I'm just like, all right, that's fine if that's what you want to do, and people enjoy it, and I'm not saying that they shouldn't, but I
No, no,
just went,
no.
okay, it's not for me anymore.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Once you're probably the same as me, but once think I've figured out the formula of the episode of the show or the story arc, I just go, okay, I know what's going to happen, so I'm not going to bother watching it.
I really struggle with things too where I don't like at least one of the characters. So
Yeah,
if I watch something and everyone in it is kind of dog shit or morally
yeah,
corrupt, or,
yeah,
if I can't root for a character, I'm out.
yeah.
And there's so
That's
many shows like Homeland was like that for me.
yeah.
I
Never watched
was
it. Yeah,
intrigued by the premise, and I'm like, everyone in it I fucking hate.
yeah,
And the start of Breaking Bad was like that for me as well. I'm
yeah.
like, I
I want to
hate
hear more of
him, I hate
this.
his wife, they're all just annoying. And I've obviously since heard that, certain characters come into their own, so I will get back to it.
Breaking Bad's fucking awesome.
Yeah, yeah. I keep meaning to grab the box set, during a sale. And then, because when I've invested that $200, $150 or whatever, I'll
Yeah,
feel compelled to watch it.
yeah.
But when it's just on streaming or whatever, I'm like, maybe I'll
Yeah.
get to it.
That's the thing, yeah, and that's another thing about streaming is that you do put it off. Like you go, oh, well, it's always going to be there, right? So I'm always going to have it, and that's the thing. I'm actually going to cull. I think I'm going to get rid of my stand because I don't need. I haven't accessed my stand at all. I don't use my streaming much at all anymore, but I have them annual. I have an annual thing to them, so
Yeah.
yeah. So I might get rid of my monthly payment ones. So yeah, just I don't know. I just don't watch them because I've got too many actual discs that I need to watch. So
Yeah, same.
yeah,
Like we pay for Amazon Prime, but only because of Amazon
yeah,
Prime.
yeah. That's
So
easy.
the
That's
the
$80 a year, right?
yeah, the
So
TV stuff's just a bonus. Like we'd have it
yeah,
anyway. Yeah, and we have Netflix because my wife likes a lot of the shit that's on there.
yeah,
A lot of the
yeah,
chick shows and stuff. Yeah,
yeah.
they're the only two that we pay for anyway.
You
Yeah.
share.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, Disney. Yeah, we share. Not that we watch much on that, but yeah.
I have Disney because, well, there's some great shows on there that I rewatch. Like I love The Simpsons for one. And then you've got It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, which is, I don't know if you've ever seen that, but you
Yeah,
should
it's
watch
great.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so good. I love Solar Opposites. I don't know if you like animated. Do you like
Yeah, I've not
animated
heard of that.
shows?
Yeah, I don't mind. Like
S-
normally it's stuff like, Family Guy and American Dad and
Yeah,
South Park, that sort
definitely
of
check
stuff.
out Solar Opposites. It's the same
Okay.
guy, the guy who created Rick and Morty co-created this show with another
Okay.
guy. And for the first 3 seasons, he does the voices, but then because he got cancelled because he was a creep at work, there's new voices in for season 4 and 5.
Okay.
It's such a great, basically about these aliens who crash land on Earth because their planet blew up, and
Okay.
they hate Earth.
All right.
So there's two guys in there, and they have their replicants who are supposed to replace them, and they have to raise like their pet, and eventually when the pet grows up, it's going to actually consume Earth and
Sweet.
transform the planet for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's such a funny show. It's
All
great, and
right.
then it has this little side quest of because the boy replicant has a shrink ray, so when people piss him off, he shrinks them,
Yeah.
and then he brings them home and puts them in this like terrarium in the wall.
Yeah.
And so there's this whole side plot of this society of tiny humans in this wall.
Okay.
Just have their own wars. They live their own life. It's such a great show, man.
Yeah,
It's
nice.
beautiful.
Sounds
It's
intriguing.
awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's brilliant. Yeah, Solar Opposites is one of the first shows I'll recommend to anyone, especially if you like animated shows. Where are we up to? That was a good little digression.
You're
Do
gonna have to
you?
cut half this shit out, otherwise it's gonna be
No,
ages long.
no, that's all right. No cuts, absolutely no cuts. Maybe a gag rule, but that'll be about
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
No special features. Do you catalog your stuff?
Yeah, so I use CLZ movies.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I like having it on my phone just so that
Hmm.
when I'm in an op shop, I
Yeah.
can go, oh yeah, do I have that film? And yeah,
Mm.
basically be able
Okay.
to check
Duplicate.
because there's a lot of stuff that I've seen that I don't own or that I own
Mm.
that I've not seen, and therefore the memory's a bit hazy.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
or, sometimes I'll think, "Oh, I think I have this, but I can't remember if it's on DVD or Blu-ray or whatever." So
Yeah.
yeah, I like that aspect of just being able to quickly go, oh yeah, I
I'm
don't
still
have
yet
it,
to
or
I'm still yet to get into the app side. Do you have to pay for CLZ?
yeah, but it's not much. I think it's like $3 a month, or maybe
Okay.
$25 for a year, and
Right.
it like does, so you can scan the barcode to
Oh
put
yeah, yeah.
put stuff in, and it
Yep.
gives you like not that you'll be able to see this, but yeah, it gives you
No.
pictures and
Yep.
all that's the cover photos and all that sort of stuff. So
Yeah, I think Blu-ray.com does that as well, but
yeah,
they have an app. But I cracked the shit because I have a spreadsheet and I was going to do it, and I started and it just wasn't picking up the barcode on anything I did. And I was like, fuck this, and it's just taken too long. I scanned like 3 movies in like 10 minutes, and now that I've got like 1,800 actual movies, there's no way in the world I'm gonna
yeah,
scan all that. That's just taken me 74 years.
yeah. No, look, I did my collection only a couple of months ago, which at the time would have been 1,300 titles. And I
Mm,
reckon I did it in 2 or 3 days.
yeah,
Like
okay.
not constantly, obviously,
Yeah,
but I
yeah,
do like a shelf or two,
yeah.
and and then add them to the app because obviously it then downloads all the
Yeah.
details and all that sort of shit. Yeah, and I think from memory, out of my whole collection, there might have been only two things that it didn't find.
Okay.
Yeah, whereas I found another online kind of app that I'd been using. I can't remember what it's called. I found I was constantly having issues with that because Australian
Mm.
stuff wasn't in it. So, because it's like an overseas thing. Whereas, yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
This seems to, yeah, have
Just
pretty
picks up
much
everything.
DVD profiler I used to use.
Yeah, I've heard. Yes, I've heard of that.
Yeah. And that's
Yeah.
cool because you can print really cool reports out of that. So you can
Ah,
print like what's essentially like a coffee table book with
right.
just the covers, pictures of all the covers, and so you can have it there, and you can say to someone, "Oh, pick a movie," and they can
Yeah,
flip through the book.
that's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. So I like that aspect of it, but it just got old, like fucking,
Yeah.
having to wait. Like I had a list of shit that I'd buy and it wouldn't be on the thing, and then a month later I'd check and see if they'd added it, and it
Uh-huh.
just got old. So I find
Yep.
this one's way better.
Yeah, that's fair. I think I downloaded that when we spoke once before, and it did look pretty cool. But then it was going to take again. I was like, I'm not spending the time cataloging all this in here. Like got a spreadsheet that'll do for now. So
Yeah,
I have to.
it seems like
Yeah.
you're a lot better at remembering what you have than me.
Well,
I'm not great at that.
yeah. I think a large portion, as is evidenced just by how I'm talking, is really devoted to remembering what I have. Although I have been out at a store and messaged my kids at home and said, "Can you go to the shelves and see if I have this movie?"
Yeah, I've done that
And
as well.
yeah, because it's just like I don't know if I've got it or not. And like when I'm at CEX, for example, I've picked up. I have some dupes of like Friends with Benefits, for example. I was like, I picked it up. I'm like, I'm sure I got this not long ago, but it's $1.50. I'm like, it's $1.50. If I don't have it, who cares, right?
Yeah,
So stuff like that, that doesn't bother me too much. But the recent ones with the Arrow 4Ks was annoying. But didn't actually have them and have them cataloged yet. So that's why I ordered them. But I
mm,
mean, I've done it, I haven't done it enough to justify me spending even $3 a month
yeah.
on an app. Like I have an issue with having to spend money on an app.
To be
Full
honest,
stop.
you probably remember what you have better because you type the titles into the
Yes,
spreadsheet. Because all
absolutely.
I'm doing is scanning a barcode, dip,
Yeah,
dip, and
yeah.
it populates everything. So that's why
That's
I
a
don't remember.
that's a massive factor that typing them in. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't know if I've shown you my spreadsheet, but I have a bit of detail in there, just the detail I want. But
yeah,
yeah, it's yeah, that would definitely help. Sorry, that would definitely help.
yeah.
Yeah, you've kind of answered some of my other questions coming up about how you buy your stuff and your packaging
Preferences.
thoughts.
Yeah,
Yeah, and we already know you collect other physical media.
yeah.
I'm just gonna throw this out there because I think we have spoken about this before. But what are your favorite films or actors? Do you have any favorite
Um,
directors and so
so
forth?
favorite films, as I said, really like The Martian, really like The Thing, High Fidelity,
Oh yeah,
Tremors, Hereditary's a favorite more
yeah,
recently, Jaws, that sort of stuff. So yeah,
yep,
more yeah. I guess I have a bit of a horror bent. Obviously, Poltergeist, hence me buying that VHS today.
yeah.
That's another fave. Yeah, so there's a
Poltergeist is
few
awesome.
things. I really liked Joker.
Yep,
I
I like
just,
Joker.
as
Don't like
someone
Joker
who's
2 though.
suffered from mental illness, I thought it was a
Mm.
really realistic portrayal of the
Hmm.
bleakness
Hmm.
that you feel during that time. So yeah, it really resonated with me, that aspect of
Yeah.
kind of even how it was shot and how they portrayed him and his interactions with the world. Yeah, I don't know.
Mm.
I saw it at the right time. Sometimes a films like that, like
Absolutely.
you'll see a film, and for some reason, like I remember something that springs to mind is the movie The Secret Life of Walter Mitty, with
Yes. Yeah. Ben
Ben
Stiller.
Stiller. I saw that
Mm.
film, and I don't know for why, but for some reason, it just really struck a chord with me. And I went and I spoke to a guy at work, and I'm like, "You have to see this film. Like, it's really cool," and blah blah blah. And he went and saw it, and he's like, "Yeah, I thought it was okay." And I'm like, "All right." And then I've since watched it again, and I'm like, "Yeah, it's not as good as I remember."
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So it's interesting
Yep.
because I was talking to a guy at work about the X trilogy, right? The
Oh
Ari Aster
yes.
films.
Yeah.
And he was
Uh.
saying Ty West,
Time?
sorry,
Yeah.
he was saying that he didn't really buy into the whole, I guess, motivation of Pearl in X. That and he said she's killing
Mm,
people because she's sexually frustrated, and I'm
mm,
like, that's
mm,
not what it is. I said, as
mm,
a mid 50-year-old with a fucked back, her motivation is how youth is wasted on the young, and
mm.
they don't appreciate what they have, and they just
That's
waste it. And so she's, really forlorn about having missed her youth and given it over to her husband and blah,
yeah.
blah, blah. And
We
when
find out in Pearl why too,
yeah,
right?
exactly. And when I put it like that to him, he goes, "Oh, yeah, actually, yeah, maybe you're right." And he's less than half my age, so,
Yeah.
or about half my age. So, yeah, I think, yeah, he just didn't kind of get it. So,
I'm going to read you because I don't know if you're not on Letterboxd, are
no.
you? No. So I want to read you the first paragraph or the first sentence of my first time I saw X, which was April 2022.
Okay.
Because I had the same thought as your mate. So I wrote, so this horny old bitch killed these people because her husband wouldn't fuck her. Ha ha. Horror movies are dumb. But then I wrote about, like, I actually did like the movie, and when I watched it again, and I liked it more. But I liked it more because then I'd seen Pearl,
Yeah.
and then I understood that more. But yeah, I totally agree with what you're saying. Like, you got it first try, and yeah,
Yeah.
it's yeah. But I thought just what your mate thought resonated with me because that's
Yeah.
exactly how I
Yeah.
thought about it when
Yeah,
I
it's
first watched it.
interesting. Yeah,
Yeah,
no, I don't know why, but I got it straight away. Maybe because, yeah, like I said, I've been suffering with a bad back, and I
yeah,
felt old and shit, and
yeah,
used up and all this crap. Plus, with
yeah.
the whole impending retirement thing, even though it's nice to retire at 55, I'm not
Mm,
complaining. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's just weird. Again, it just really struck a chord with me at that time. I'll probably revisit those films in 5 years
yeah,
time and go, yeah, they're just okay. I
yeah,
don't know.
yeah. But
Um,
it works in reverse though too. Like I've watched some films, I'm like, this isn't great. Like, and that's
yeah.
why I will buy films where I think, this isn't great, but I do want to watch it again just to make sure, right? Like
Mm,
that's, when I first watched 12 Monkeys, it wasn't my favorite film of all time, but it is now because I've seen it like maybe a dozen times or more. And it just resonates with me with the things I gel with. So, I mean, I know I've watched films and gone, that's shit. And then Lord of the Rings, what we are talking about before, didn't like it. And then all of a sudden I love them because I gave them another chance. It's like, they're like people. They need to hit you at the right time
mm,
in the right vibe and the
yeah,
right mood and
100%.
blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's plenty of movies I've watched recently that I just haven't gelled with because I haven't been in the mood to watch them. Like I just put something on and I'm like, I'm not in the mood to watch this, but I'm not going to turn it off now and start something else. So,
I think Midsummer was that movie for me.
yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
because obviously, yeah, loved Hereditary, loved that
Mm,
stuff. But then, yeah, for some reason, I'm just like, yeah, this is all right. Like, I didn't hate it by any stretch of the
yeah.
imagination, but I didn't enjoy it anywhere near as much as Hereditary. And other people love it
Mm.
and say how great it is. So,
Yeah, I liked. I thought Midsummer was okay. I watched that with my ex at the time, and watching movies with her because she was Malaysian, so she I guess wasn't used to a lot of Western movies per se. So she was liking it. It actually kind of raised my enjoyment of movies. So, and I haven't watched Midsummer since. Like I own it. I need to watch it again because it's something I've always planned to rewatch, but it's one of those movies I want to be in the house alone to watch as well.
mm,
So kids are always about, blah blah blah. That's why I
yeah.
haven't watched Caligula yet as well. So,
Yeah, I haven't
but
watched that yet either. I picked it up,
yeah,
but yeah, I haven't got to it yet.
yeah. But talking about, like, I just talking about how sometimes it's who you're watching with as well. Like, Goodfellas is one of my all-time favorite movies.
Yeah,
I watched
likewise.
that. Yeah, and I watched that with my ex, and she didn't like it at all, and it made me go, maybe it isn't that good. And then I watched it again like 18 months later. I'm like, nah, this movie's fucking amazing.
Yeah,
Like,
no,
so
it is great.
yeah, it's just the experience you have. And that's I think it was that experience alone where I started thinking, yeah, maybe you just need to give things another chance. It's because it's about your understanding of it too. Like
Yeah.
sometimes, what's a movie I watched recently where I thought you have to have gone through? I actually said it to someone. You have to have gone through some shit to appreciate it. Movie was that. It was like in the last couple of days I watched it. I could understand why. Oh, here a young person. I don't think a person in their 20s would appreciate here the new Robert Zemeckis movie
Mm,
with Tom Hanks. I mean, I'm someone who's been through life and had to pass up dreams and blah blah blah. And it's I loved it. It's basically not a very well received movie, but it just hit me at the right time, and I gelled with it. Like I vibed. It's just there is a gimmick to the film. Like the whole film is shot from one camera perspective inside this house,
Okay.
through history of time. Like it's actually shown. The first scene is when the asteroid kills the dinosaurs, basically, and
Yeah.
then it basically develops into this family drama in this Midwestern town, starring Tom Hanks as a youngster with some de-aging, and then he basically lives in the house his entire life with his wife, and he raises his own family there while his parents grow old and blah blah blah. So it's
Okay.
fascinating movie. The camera never moves the entire time,
Oh, nice.
until the very last shot. So but yeah, it was just one of the. I don't think people like it because they either don't, they haven't lived that part of their life, or they just don't like the gimmick of it. The gimmick I could give or take, but the story I really gelled with. So
Mm.
yeah.
Yeah, nice. I'll check it out. I haven't seen it. So
Yeah, you should. Yeah, you should check it out. You might have to get it nefariously at the moment, but it'll be around soon.
yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure I've got enough to tide me over until I can
Yeah, you'll
grab
survive.
it on
That's for sure.
physical.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 That's going to probably wrap us up,
No worries.
Mark. If there's anything, is there anything you wanted to add or ask me before
No,
we do,
just
mate?
buy more physical media, everybody.
Yes, keep the bricks and mortar stores alive. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah, we need to keep them
100%.
alive. Otherwise, our habit dies.
Yeah,
Have
or
to
gets
import
even more
everything.
expensive.
Yeah, that's right. And have to import everything, which is way more expensive already. So,
Yeah,
yeah. So, well, look, honestly, thanks for being on the show, man. I
no
do
worries.
really appreciate your time. Is there any way you want to direct people? I know you have an Instagram
Yeah,
page.
I've got an Instagram. It's just 4K Freak. Yeah, I just basically post photos of what I'm watching. So it's
Mm.
nothing amazing, but yeah,
Ah,
like I just basically just add, if I'm going to watch a movie, I'll take a photo of the cover and put it up.
yeah.
So
You did that the other day. I wanted to ask you what you thought of The Faculty.
yeah, really enjoyed it actually.
Yeah,
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah,
Yeah, good.
really liked it. Bit of an
Yep.
homage to The Thing in parts. Like
Yeah,
you can
it's
see that they've like the bit where spoilers, Famke Janssen's head sprouts legs and skitters
yeah.
away.
Yes.
Certainly a
It's very
better looking head than the guy in The Thing, that's for sure.
yeah.
Yeah, no,
No,
I
no
enjoyed it.
arguments.
Amazing cast. Like when you look at that film
Yeah,
now,
yeah,
literally everyone in it has since
yeah.
gone on to just bigger and better
I
things.
love the John Stewart part where he gets his come up. Well, he gets his come up and says at the start he goes, "Oh, I might as well stick a pen in my eye," and
Yeah,
that's kind of
yeah, that's it.
calling forward to when it actually
Um,
happens.
yeah, and Josh Hartnett was good in it,
Yep.
obviously. That's how it came up because I was talking with a guy at work about Trap. And I said,
Mm.
oh, yeah, and Josh Hartnett's in it. He hasn't been in anything that I'm aware of anyway for a while. He was really
Yep.
good. And he goes, oh, speaking of Josh Hartnett, have you seen, The
Mm.
Faculty? And I'm like, nah. And so we were talking at work and I literally bought it on eBay then
Okay.
and there. So I didn't forget, like got a 20
Yeah.
buck copy on Blu-ray. And when it
Yeah.
came in, watched it.
That was a movie I watched at that age, that age that the cast were at. So I've been a big fan of that for a long time. It's like a Invasion of the Body Snatchers take,
Yeah.
really. So it's
Yeah, you can
yeah.
see they've reworked a few kind of
Mm.
films, but no, but with a bit of a fresh take and a great cast. Like I enjoyed it.
Yeah, a really good young cast. Robert Rodriguez
Yeah,
directed. So yeah, one of
yeah,
his before he turned to shit, sadly.
yeah. I haven't
Um,
seen anything of his lately. Like, not
he,
worth a look.
he did the Boba Fett show on
Yeah, so I've not seen.
Disney. No,
Yeah,
that's fucking trash. The best
yeah,
part of that is when they do the Mandalorian episodes in the middle of it. Like the show's that bad. Like they have
yeah.
to put
I
three
don't,
Mandalorian
I don't know
episodes in
why
it.
they seem to have this thing about destroying characters that we love. Like, yeah,
Tamura Morrison, I had a massive argument with people online on Facebook because I said, Tamura Morrison, you can't act. He's terrible in this. And they're like, oh, he's great in Once More. He's a great actor. Like, he was good in one movie.
yeah, in which he
He's,
fucking played himself.
yeah.
It's like Jack Nicholson in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's
yeah,
Nest. He just
yeah.
fuck, and he's
Yeah.
since, and don't get me wrong, he's made some great films, but
Yeah.
oh, what are you doing in this, Jack? Oh, I might play some like quirky, edgy, fucking
Yeah.
crazy dude. Oh, okay,
Mate,
cool. That's a really refreshing take for you.
like, know exactly like Ryan Reynolds nowadays. Like, plays himself in everything he's in, and
Yeah.
it's for some reason people aren't sick of it yet.
Clooney, he made a glorious career out of.
Mm.
Oh, Alfred, you're dying. I'll make that shit-eating grin face that portrays every fucking emotion and
Wobble
get
my
paid
head.
$8 million a film to do it.
Yeah, it's crazy, huh?
Anyway,
We're signing off.
yeah,
I'm glad.
tangent.
No. That was my fault. I
Yeah,
brought up the faculty, but
yeah.
hopefully people, if you haven't seen it, go and see it. So if you have enjoyed this longer episode of KerbSide Collections, give me a follow on Instagram. That's KerbSide_collections. And if you are a collector and would like to be on the show, give me a DM and we'll set up some time to get you on because needing more people for the show. Yeah, more people to chat with. Until next time, thanks for listening to KerbSide Collections.